What up, guys? Welcome to my reaction series. Today we're talking about the truth about relationship virgins. So this is an article written by a woman talking about women that have never been in a relationship. So, never had a romantic relationship. Here's what should be a source of pride. Relationship virgins, a popular term for people who had never been in a romantic relationship, are often stigmatized and judged harshly. People view those without romantic relationship experience as less happy, less well-adjusted, and lonelier than others, according to research. As the number of single people grows in the United States and abroad, many people are taking pride in living outside of the conventions of coupling. In 2017, a story in The Guardian broke the internet. It was about a woman who managed to get to 54 without ever having a boyfriend. She was called a relationship virgin. This story was filled with anguish. The relationship virgin was distraught about her lack of romantic relationship experience and was struggling to find out what went wrong with her. She was so ashamed she would not even use her real name. There's probably a lot wrong. My first guess is there's nothing wrong with her. Oh my God. Only women can write an article. Look it. If there's something not working in your life, most likely you're not doing something right. If you can point to people that are let's face it, our generation is in a testosterone crisis thanks to modern lifestyle, poor diet, and environmental toxins. Low testosterone can sabotage your health and vitality. Reclaim your edge and bring your levels back to where they belong so you can live stronger, healthier, and with purpose. That's where Man's Edge from Neutronics Labs comes in. The powerful formula combines 4 clinically proven ingredients: fenugreek, IGF-1, NO2, and Tongkat Ali to ignite your body's own testosterone factory. Studies show fenugreek, along with IGF-1 and other clinically backed ingredients in Man's Edge, can help boost your testosterone up by 46%. Plus, Man's Edge patented liposome delivery has up to 98% absorption, far better than your typical powders or pills. So, you can actually feel the difference. Right now, you can save 50% on all orders when you auto ship and use my code PEARL. Get the edge today and don't settle for anything less. Visit getmansedge.com and reclaim your vitality today. Now women are kind of messed up, right? So you could maybe say that if a marriage ends, it's not really your fault. But if you could look at, men pulling a lot of hot women, they figured something out, right? And it's the same with women. If there's women that are getting hot boyfriends, smart boyfriend, rich boyfriend, whatever you want, you're probably doing something. It's probably the weight. The problem, how much do you weigh, lady? The problem instead is with the pervasive pressures to be romantically involved, the celebration of those who are romantically involved, and the relentless stereotyping and stigmatizing of those who are not. I wrote about romantic relationship virgins when the Guardian story was first published, but I want to revisit the matter because I have glimmers of hope that some of the sadness and shame around this matter is beginning to dissipate. In some instances, people who have never been in romantic relationships are instead justifiably experiencing pride. Feel bad about being a romantic relationship virgin is understandable. I think some people who truly want to have romantic relationships, not just any romantic relationship, but a committing, enduring one in their heart, that's central to who they are. They think they will feel happier and more fulfilled that way, and that their life will be more meaningful. One of the many reasons we should stop stigmatizing them is this: they are in enough pain already. I wonder whether for some people who are long to be coupled, that feeling can seem like it's coming from within. That is something that it is something about them as a person and what they really want, when oppressive social norms and expectations are powerfully shaping about the desires they realize. That's important because they would feel less miserable if everyone around them, including our matrimonial popular culture, stop being so unenlightened in their thinking and so judgmental. So this is female rationalization and cope. So this is basically women saying, I'm trying to cope with the fact that I'm not lovable, wantable, or hot. It's a tough realization. You know what I mean? I think the worst, I'll tell you a story when I was young. So when I was younger, I had some very attractive friends because I played volleyball, and I mean, you guys know how volleyball baddies are. And the worst feeling ever is when guys are like, who's your friend? And like, especially when you have a beautiful friend and it's like every guy's asking always, you're like, yeah. But this is what I mean. Women, it's like we know there's a difference in outcomes for women, but it can never be us. Like sometimes you're just not good enough. Yeah. So the judgment begins with the very term that got popularized, relationship virgins. Like so many other uses of the word relationship, it hijacks it, narrowing its meaning to just romantic relationships. In fact, relationship is a big, warm-hearted word. It encompasses friendships, family ties, bonds with neighbors and mentors, and more. In addition to romantic links, if you have had any kind of relationship, then you are not a relationship virgin. So again, this is women rationalizing being in a situationship. Look, it happens. I'm not here to judge, but that's an L. Okay, that's objectively just an L. You're feeling that you are being judged for never having had a romantic relationship can be real. My colleagues Wendy Morris and Jeannie Hertel and I did research on the topic before the term relationship virgin was popularized. We created pairs of brief biological sketches of male and female 20-something-year-olds. For each pair, everything about the person in the sketches were identical, except that in one version, they were described as having been in at least one romantic relationship in the past. And in the other, they were described as having no romantic relationship experience. We found that in some ways, the romantic relationship virgins were evaluated harshly. For example, they were viewed as less happy, less well-adjusted, and lonelier than adults out of the same age who did not have a romantic relationship experience. Not all of the perceptions were negative, though. For example, adults who have never been in a romantic relationship were not seen as any more self-centered or envious than those who do not have romantic relationship experience. Why the stigma may be subsiding. So when women say we're getting rid of the stigma, that means we're all doing a bad behavior together so we can make it more normal so we're not judged. It's kind of like the way OnlyFans is almost not abnormal anymore. It's because they destigmatized it. And it does work. It does work. Like if everyone's doing something, you might not like it, but it does become more normal. Just about every time the Census Bureau reports new data, results show that the number of single people is growing. In the United States, nearly half of all people 18 and older are unmarried. The biggest group by far of people who are not married is people who have never been married. The rise of single people is not specific to the United States. Even more stunning were the results of a Pew survey conducted just before the pandemic and published in 2020. It showed that half of all solo single people did not want a romantic relationship or even to date. Of course, plenty of people who are single have never had romantic relationship experience, but the number who haven't even had a romantic relationship is increasing alongside the number of people who stay single. When more and more people share a particular experience, it becomes increasingly implausible to insist that there is something wrong with all of them. What's more, with strength in numbers, sometimes they start to organize and fight back. They begin to challenge other people's prejudice rather than internalizing them. So, okay, that's kind of BS, but what happens is women are sharing the same men. Therefore, some women are only selected for situationships, not relationships, and that's an L. And instead of taking it, eating it, internalizing it, improving, maybe shooting a little lower next time, women, we just have a tendency to try to make it normal and just do the same thing over and over again until we crash out. So from shame to pride. Something very significant has happened in the years since my colleagues and I started doing our research on the stereotyping of people who have never had a romantic relationship. People who are not interested in sex or romance or conventional coupling are discovering that they share those experiences with more people than they realize. They are understanding their asexuality or aromanticism or their single status at heart as an orientation or an identity, not just a casual preference and deficiency, and definitely not a deficit. It just means you got to lose weight. We are in an obese country, so if you're just fat, well, then you just like being by yourself, men and women. Even fat women want fit men. It's not fair, but it just is what men will take chubby women, but chubby women won't take fat men. I know you're thinking that's not fair. Well, I'm just telling you what's going on. They're creating their own forums, events, and collections of resources. With regards to asexuality, I think it's fair to say that it has become a social movement. As I explained previously, investment in sexually or romanticism or romantic coupling no longer feels as compulsory as it did before. More significantly, many take pride in living outside of the conventions of sex and romance and coupling rather than being shamed by it. One of the raps on people who have never had a romantic relationship is that they are not fully an adult. I'm not a romantic relationship virgin. I dated and had a few romantic relationships when I was younger, but I'm single at heart. Conventional romantic coupling was never going to suit me. I don't think I was ever less an adult when I was in the game because that's when I was trying to be someone I was not. Suppose I already knew what I know today, that I never want to put a romantic partner at the center of my life, that I'm single at heart, which means that single life is my best, most fulfilling, most meaningful life. If I had been a true romantic relationship virgin, if I had never dated or gotten romantically involved because I knew that wasn't who I really was, I would look back with pride. I wouldn't be ashamed to be a romantic relationship virgin. I'm a little ashamed that I'm not. Yeah. So, I mean, this is just unattractive people. I'm not saying you got to be like the hottest person alive, but you got to be thin. And is there a picture of this woman? Chloe, let's see. She's going to look exactly. Chloe. I don't see her. Chloe. Yeah, and that's the thing. You got to get out of the kitchen to get in the game. Men have a little bit of leeway with this because they can get clouded or be funny or like, call women fat and, make them feel bad about, there's approaches. Like we all know that guy that's super ugly, but somehow pulls hot women. So again, overall, though, this is just women rationalizing an L. When men take L's, they at least know it's an L. The challenge with women is we tell each other it's not an L and then pretend that everything's good when it's not. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you like the video on your way out, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye.